I was never born confident. I was made to be confident. Was I just doing what I was doing only for the sake of the crown and the sash? People would remember that Vikuonuo Satsu Miss Nagaland 2019 Takishina. I did had some friends who always looked down on me, who always thought that I was too less to be that kind of a person that I wanted to be. But trust me, those are the same people who text me these days and say that we're very proud of you. So that's a success for me. For someone like me, I'm also as young as people would have not imagined, but
right, you're 22, right?
I'm 22. I do not like to be judged with the kind of age that I am in right now. So what matters is your experience, you know.
Right. I'm 25. I'm like, yo, this chick is like talking to me like I'm 14. Because you have that air of like a commanding presence. Is that something that you learned from, I don't know, did you have like inspiring role models? Did your dad or your mom, did you have people that you looked up to that put that sense of confidence in you?
Nothing as specific like that. When I was crowned as Miss Nagaland, so I was 18 that time, and to carry the title of Miss Nagaland, I could not be pretending like an 18-year-old, right? I have to look beyond my age. I have to work like I'm in my 30s, I'm in my 40s, and I have to gain experience in the period of time that will help me for the future as well. So I think that is one part of my life that actually made me this way. Yeah,
that's the thing about growing up too fast. Did you feel like you missed out on, or did you feel like that was the right time?
It was the right time actually, but in a way, like, you know, my inner self, my teenage self keeps on telling me that I've missed out a lot of fun that I should have had, because the kind of responsibility that was given to me was when I was very young, and I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that, and I ended up working so much that I left behind my 18, 19, 20, and 21, and now I'm 22. So I think over the 4 to 5 years, I've had a lot of growth. I've had a lot of new changes, but at the same time, I wish I could have lived a very normal life. There are many times when I'm in a circle of friends, and I actually don't know how to hang out with them. Like, I actually don't know how to start a conversation with them, because the conversation I've had, like, with the people that I've worked is all about, like, future. It's all about, like, the vision that you have. It's all about, like, work related, you know, like, you want to do this, you want to do that. If that's not happening, that we're trying to find solutions. But with my group of friends, you know, with my age of friends, it's totally different. They're talking about vacations. When my friends are talking about it, I would be like, what is that? And they would be like, where are you living? Are you even in Nagaland? And I'll be like, I have no idea about anything here. Come on.
Well, some people may say like that's actually a good thing, because you're surrounded by people who are ambitious,
correct,
who are always like on the
true,
go. When this whole like modeling journey happened, what was sort of the mentality behind it? Because you did tell me that you come from a pretty conservative family.
I did. The fact is that my family didn't know that I participated in Miss Kohima until the finale. If tomorrow was the finale, it was just tonight that I informed them that I'm participating and I'm one of the contestants. And everyone at home was so furious at me that I got to hear so many things. But in a way, I made up my mind that I did really wanted to participate, and maybe this is my calling, like this is meant for me.
What was their mentality behind modeling and pageantry?
In a way, I wouldn't blame them, because, you know, we come from a very conservative family where we are made to believe that industries like fashion, modeling, pageants is something that degrades women.
Right, because I remember it was being compared next to prostitution.
Correct. So they normally think that once we are into pageants, we will follow the path of being, how do I...
Just like a showgirl.
Kind of like that, like someone who's very influenced with parties, someone who's very influenced with taking all the wrong substance and everything. So that's a very normal perspective about what the Naga families, or say the Naga society, would have towards us pageant girls and people who is in this field. But eventually I participated, and my mom was there to support me, you know.
So they eventually came around?
They eventually came around, but my mom knew that I wanted to do this. You know, I have a very sweet story behind this thing, all right? the first every time that I've seen someone in pageant is Akonyo Keje. And Akonyo Keje is from our village, from Kohima village. And trust me, she won Miss Nagaland in the year 2000, all right? And exactly after 18 years, I won Miss Nagaland from the same village. So that was like a history making, and that was such an achievement for me that I'm like one of her successor. And she have been a kind of a role model for me as well, because I've seen her participating in Miss Nagaland, Miss Northeast, and to Miss India. And when I was around like 7 to 8 years old, I've seen her there at the television for the first time when she was participating in Miss India. So I told my grandma that I wanted to be like her. Then my grandma, like, she just smiled looking at me. And ever since that childhood thing, I wanted to really I really wanted to become Miss Nagaland for some reasons, all right? So there was one time that my uncle gifted me a big register, a big one, all right?
A register?
A register.
Like a cash register?
Something like that. I had this wrapping paper, and then I carefully wrapped the register, and I designed the register so nicely. So out there, I've pasted all these Miss Nagaland pictures, and normally in newspaper, the last second, the entertainment page, we get all this felicitation or see people who won, achieved certain things. Their pictures are normally there, right? I would cut off that one and I would paste in that register every morning. So that thing continued for a very long time, for almost like 1-2 years like that. And then there was a certain page where I wrote the names of all the Miss Nagaland from 1989 till 2015. All right. So in the year 2016, Vilokali Jimomi was crowned as Miss Nagaland. What I did was I wrote her name, and then I left a few gaps, all right, 2016, after that 2017, 2018, and in 2019, I wrote my name. It felt as though I manifested that I would win Miss Nagaland 2019 in the year 2016. So that's exactly what happened. And like we all know the result, I've become the Miss Nagaland 2019 and also 2020. So that has been a huge accomplishment for me. And even the time that I participated in Miss Kohima, I was only the second runners-up, Miss Kohima second runners-up 2019. And I had a month of gap where I had to prepare myself, and then I had to go for Miss Nagaland. It was quite challenging, because I thought after winning Miss Kohima, my families will start supporting me. I would be able to receive maximum support, but that wasn't the case, Like, I got more pressure because everyone started saying that, how about your studies? Wouldn't you focus on your studies? Because I was a science student back then. And I was in my 12th standard when I participated in pageants. So maybe this is meant for me. And eventually I made it to Miss Nagaland. On the 9th of December was our finale. So we did our makeup, and immediately I was the first person whose makeup got done. And after my makeup was done, I came to my room. I was looking myself through the mirror, and I told myself that I'm looking beautiful with the makeup. And I talked to myself and I said that tonight I will come back, look at myself in this mirror, and wear the sash of Miss Nagaland and the crown of Miss Nagaland. And that's what I told myself. And I went to the competition and I made it. And that night I came back again and I showed myself that thing. So it was such a victorious moment for me.
Where did you feel that confidence came from? The fact that, like you said, you manifested it, that you knew that you were going to win.
Correct. What worked on me was my faith, was my belief, and was the confidence that I had. Because faith, number one, I prayed for it. Whatever is coming in my way and whatever I vision to be, let this be something that's beautiful for people around me as well. So that was faith that worked on me. Number two was belief, I believed upon myself. If you are going forward for something, it's important that you believe that you are good enough, When you think that you are not good enough, when you think that that person is better than you, of course, someone else would be better than you in some or the other thing. But at the same time, you also have to know that you're good, you're beautiful, you're confident. Until you believe in that thing, you won't make it. There's always a thing in my head to keep the 3 P's in in my mind. Number 1, have the patience. Number 2, have the passion. And number 3, have the potential. That's the 3 P's that I always keep in my head. That's how self-belief worked on me. And number 3, confidence. Confidence not only on who I wanted to be, but confidence on who I can be. Miss Nagaland was a prestigious title. It's going to take me to a world where it's filled with so much of potential, so much of opportunities. But to take that into confidence, I also have to understand that with the kind of platform that's given to me, I can create beautiful platforms for more people, right? I can use my voice and I can use my actions in such a way that I'm impacting lives, because Miss Nagaland is not a small title. When I was giving my crown and sash to the new Miss Nagaland, it felt as though I was giving a piece of my heart, because I loved this title so much and so dear that it was so close to my heart, and I've worked so dearly for this title that nobody ever would have thought that how much precious this title meant to me, where I could create opportunities for young minds, where I could leave impact on the youth of Nagaland. And there were so many things that I could do. When you're given certain title, whether it's Miss Kohima, Miss Nagaland, or whether it's Miss World, Miss Universe also, normally you're given a year to shine. And this industry is not promising, honestly. 1 year is given to you, the other year is given to someone else. I had to utilize that year, not just in attending programs, normally what we do, or not just in promoting brands, but I had to do something that will leave an impact even after my title of Miss Nagaland is passed on to someone else, that people would remember that Vikuonuo Satsu Miss Nagaland 2019 Takishina. That is something that I wish people would remember for lifetime. Whatever I've become today, it's because of my fellow contestants. I had the confidence, I had the 3 P's in me, and similarly, they had the same kind of confidence. I haven't seen any empowered women than those ladies out there contesting for Miss Nagaland. They did not just had vision for themselves that if I win Miss Nagaland, I would do this, I would do that, but they had vision and they had mission to do something for their people, for the people of our state. And with that kind of a perspective, when you're filled in a room, when you're talking to visionary people, I think that gives you more confidence, right? And if one day I'm doing good, the other day another contestant is doing absolutely wonderful.
What do you think separated you from them then?
That's a nice question. I think, normally, I don't know what they have seen in me, but I believe it's the kind of confidence, the answer that I've given to them. I remember the question that was asked to me on the finale. What is the biggest problem that the youth of today are facing in this generation? I think my answer was very clear, that we all know that there is unemployment, there is lack of opportunities, and so much of everything is happening in this world, right? But what we need to look beyond is that us, the youth, we're going through mental health, we need to focus on that as well, because the more we are giving priority to our mental health and mental well-being, and that's when we will progress as a youth, right? So my answer was that, and that's what I felt, and that's what I told them, and maybe because of that as well, they were happy about it. Or else besides that, I believe it was the marking that I have also gotten from the earlier stages of the competition.
Well, an answer that you gave that was also pretty polarizing was that Modi question, where you said that the PM Modi should focus less on cows and more on women.
Oh my gosh, I
want to hear the story about that.
That was not me who answered. Oh my god, that literally went on so viral. And people still ask me whether that was me who answered that question.
That wasn't you.
That wasn't me, but my name was literally used in the whole media house.
What was the confusion there?
I don't know, but it was during the Miss Kohima competition. So there was 3 winners. The winner was Krenyo. The first runners-up was Krelevinyo, and the second runners-up was me, Vikuonuo. So what happened was, the first runners-up was asked the questions like, what would she speak to the Prime Minister of India when she's given the chance? So she gave her answer. And what happened at the end of the day was that my name was used, the winner's picture was used, and her answer the person who gave the answer, her answer was used, and that was all put onto the media house. 3 of us also got really frustrated. We deactivated our accounts. We isolated ourselves for a month because people, news channels from Delhi, from Assam, from Mumbai, they were calling us and they were asking if they can interview us, and all this scene came out, and we literally had to go through so many things, and we had a press release and we clarified everything as well.
I mean, it's free publicity.
Yeah.
Why not?
I know.
One of my biggest gripes with like beauty pageants is that there's almost too much of them. I remember back when I was in the States, and there was like some beauty pageant one after the other. You know, now you have beauty pageants named after street corners, you know, like Miss Hollywood Boulevard. In my head, I'm like, that's great. Now you're giving more opportunities to younger people. The competitive nature that I have is that, are we doing that, or are we just giving them participation awards because they couldn't win the national titles? Sure. Like, where do we draw the line? I tell myself this all the time. It's 1 or 0 sometimes. Like, you don't really get a middle ground. You know, it's either you're right or you're wrong. And I think when you have competitions like this, where there's a clear winner, the contestants who didn't win, you can say, well, if you work hard next year, you can still make it up.
As much as I love beauty pageants, and as much as the pageant industry has given me a career today and made me to be the woman I am today, I don't like beauty pageants anymore.
Really?
I really don't like beauty pageants anymore. Amongst the young people of Nagaland, we are unable to identify the right platform. Every new month you have Miss Nagaland. Someone or the other is winning national pageants. Someone or the other is winning international pageants. Someone or the other is winning pageants in Dimapur, Kima, everywhere. There are good reputed district pageants, and there is also a reputed state pageant. So you need to focus more on the reputed ones. When you start participating in the small pageants, which is not promising, it really degrades your values, your visions, and yourself as well. So identification of the right platform, the right opportunity is important. It's not like pageant is wrong. It's not like pageant is bad. It's not like pageant will lead you in a wrong path. Pageant has led me in a right way, right? But then I want to tell all these young people that I know that all of you want to win certain pageant, right? But don't go for everything. Go for, identify the good ones, identify a platform that's promising, and go for that, you know? And that's when you would be able to make the correct decision. Imagine going to all the pageants and not making it. You're going to dishearten yourself. And I keep on telling people around me as well that now the time has changed. If you want to participate in pageant, have a mindset that's great and have a great patience in you. Because if you don't have patience, you're going to break down.
Well, I went to school with a girl who only went to pageants that she knew that she was going to win. She had that mentality where she wanted to be a big fish in a small pond. The amount of women that I met that had won some pageant or the other. So this isn't a problem that's just here in like isolated Nagaland. It's out there as well.
Pageants like district pageants, the right district pageants are great, you know, and the right state pageant will also give you a lifetime opportunity. And pageants like Miss Northeast, they're very prestigious because they're organized by all the state organizers in the Northeast. So it gives you immense of opportunity, except that you utilize that opportunity. And besides that, other pageants, I don't have anything to say about them.
Well, in terms of utilizing the opportunity, the first person that comes to mind is Rofuzanyo.
Correct.
So, in our day and age, if you are not on social media and you're not utilizing it and marketing yourself with it, you don't exist.
Right.
And someone like her, she used whatever time that she had, because you guys only get like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Right. And the way that she's used that and marketed herself around it, I think people should aspire, you know, when you look at the time limit, look at someone like that.
She's a queen of marketing, you know. It's not about the looks or say the title that you have won, but it's about how you are utilizing it, you know. She's able to utilize her strategies and she's able to market that in a very good way. So she's where she is today.
In a way, pageantry has always been about, you know, the physicals back in the day. Now it's changed to more of like personality, how you can maneuver around it. Right. But was that daunting though? Feeling that your physical image was essentially your resume?
After I passed on my crown in the year 2020, 21. The next year, I started gaining weight. Literally too much. And people have no idea why I was gaining weight. I was dressed like a 90-year-old grandpa, and I was literally looking after like one whole project, and that project was also about shifting from my comfort zone to going to a new place and working with old people again. So I think that literally changed my whole lifestyle as well. That changed my whole routine as well. And I started gaining like so much of weight. And that whole year, I was body shamed, both in person and everywhere as well. I was so reluctant to even post a picture of mine because I felt as though I was looking so bad. I felt as though like gaining weight was like a crime for me. I would like cry myself every night and nobody knew that. I would like literally hate myself, my body. I would not even want to see myself in the mirror. I even deactivated my Instagram account for the longest time. I was not feeling empowered, you know. I was not feeling as though people were trying to encourage me. Of course, we cannot always expect encouragement, but at the same time, at least I wanted to hear something good. Yeah, come on. The moment I post something, they would be like, "Ay, aman mote huwase," or some people would be like, you're becoming so healthy, or you know, at times when
it's like the roundabout way.
At times when I meet people, "Ay, kikain naman mote huwase," like that. Now, I would be like,
It's usually like the aunties, right? The aunties and the grandmas.
Even the uncles, yeah, come on. Come on, trust me, it's not about food, yeah, it's about stress.
It's about mental health,
I know,
yeah.
it's about mental health, yeah. And they don't understand, like, they feel like they just say the sentence and done, it's okay. But they don't know that it affects us. It affects us in such a way that we start feeling insecure about ourselves. Imagine 2022 and 2023, I swear I have been the most insecure. I hated to go out. I told you that 2023, I isolated myself, right? One reason was I wanted to focus on my Miraculum Society and the construction of our center. Another second reason was I didn't want to show people my physical self because I was so reluctant to even come out of my zone. People called me to judge an event. People called me to host the events, or people called me to come and be a part of certain event, talk shows, or any as such, or come live on Instagram with them. But I was so, I don't know, yeah. I couldn't even have the confidence to face the people around. I don't like home also because every now and then someone or the other is saying that you're gaining too much, and people have no idea, yeah. I eat the same amount as I used to eat before, or even lesser. I live in Noklak, okay, these days. I live in Noklak. The people who stays with me at home, they ask me, "Didi, amni do uko nakainiwi kinya takyo pareho." Come on, but I'm still gaining, yeah.
Yeah, what's happening?
What's happening? Like, they don't understand. Like, there is something that impacts you so much. People don't understand. So please stop judging. Stop judging me because I'm gaining. Stop judging anybody who is growing healthy, yeah. Come on. This is more beautiful, yeah, in a way. Come on. Like, you might be thinking that it's just one-time sentence, or it's just something you're complimenting in a sarcastic way, but it's also affecting someone's mental health. So
yeah, it's definitely like an Asian culture thing.
Correct.
Because it's where, and my sister, she lives in Korea, and she says she constantly get those comments all the time. They're just saying it because they're so blunt about it, and they observe it, and they have no fucking filter in their minds, and it just comes out. I think for a guy, if you do gain a little bit of weight, healthy is used in the right
context.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, you did get big.
And there was someone, okay, from my neighborhood. He came and he asked me, "Were you dieting during Miss Nagaland?" And suddenly you stopped dieting, so you became so healthy. So I was like, why the hell are you asking me that? Yeah, come on. My goodness, people's perspective on your appearance is too high. You know, they expect you too much. Whether I miss Nagaland and I'm still healthy, that's okay. But people do not understand.
They don't. And the funny thing is, if you were in Canada or like in the States, you'd be considered like pretty thin. I was recently in Singapore, and the beauty standards over there is like a size 0, where these women are like starving themselves to the point where you can see their ribs.
Right.
I'm like, that's not the kind of beauty that I'd want. That's not the kind of feminism that I'd want another woman pushing.
Right.
There's also that slippery slope where it's like, how much are we accepting? Are we encouraging it too much? Is it all about holistic care? Is it all about how you feel? If you're like 400 pounds, but you still feel amazing, you still feel happy.
I think that's what matters the most, okay? Because one thing that I've realized is when I was overtaking what people were telling me, I felt very underconfident, and I didn't want it to come out of my house as well. But the moment that I felt as though I was beautiful and I'm okay with the kind of size that I'm in right now, I think that literally changed the perspective of my own mind as well. And that's when I see the world in a more different way, in a more different and in a more beautiful way, you know. Like, I feel as though people are looking at me in a better way, because the way you carry yourself also matters a lot, all right? So at the end of the day, what matters is, even if you're 400 pounds, even if you are, I don't know, whatever it has to be, if you're confident enough, if you feel you're beautiful enough, go for it, no problem.
When you felt that's when you started to look beautiful. How did that start? When did that start?
I would tell you, this thing happened with a very special person, Yamadlinak. There was a time that I told him that I feel fat, you know, like I don't feel beautiful, I don't feel confident, and I don't like myself a lot. So there was a time that he made me to understand that you're beautiful in your own way, you know. He made me to understand that it's not about how I feel as well at times. It's about how I make someone feel, you know. So he told me that I'm beautiful in his eyes, and the more I carry myself in a good way, that's what will make me more beautiful, you know. It's not just about physical appearance, it's about what your inner self is. There was one person like him who made me felt special, who made me felt beautiful, and that's when I came out of my zone of being very insecure, and then I started seeing the world in a very beautiful way. And it is because of him as well. Compliments, you know, when you're giving compliments to people around you, it makes you feel special. It might seem just like you're beautiful is just a word or it's just a sentence. No, it's not. It's something that can make someone's day, right? And when someone says that you're beautiful, even if you're like that, even if you're like this, that's so special. What matters is people who sees a better side of you. There were my friends whom I used to complain saying that I look fat, you know, like I don't find myself beautiful enough, or I don't look good in the kind of like certain outfit that I'm using, or I keep on saying, blabbering to them about how I feel about my weight gain and how I feel about my appearance.
Were you just like constantly a downer?
Yeah,
like, all the time?
All the time. So, you know, my friends made me to understand, all right? They made me to understand that it's okay to feel fat, you know? It's okay to let people say that you're gaining. What matters is how you want to carry yourself, right? So they made sure that they compliment me when I post certain things. They made me felt comfortable with myself back again. So at the end of the day, it's people that you surround with that makes you very comfortable. It is also important that I need to look beyond what I'm thinking as well. I am someone who talks about so much of women empowerment and so much of everything happening with women. But what if I stay back, and what if I just think about my weight gain? What if I just think about how do I look, how my appearance is? Then how am I even supposed to speak the reality to young women and young girls, right? So that's when my head clicked, and that's when I thought, like, let me just come out of my room and shine my world. So that's that thing that happened.
Your slogan right after you won, you immediately wanted to go into uplift the kids, the children, and you had your slogan "Beauty with a Purpose."
Beauty with a purpose, yes.
Right, and then that's how you developed the Miraculum Society.
Correct. I get overwhelmed when I talk about this, but Miss Nagaland, when you hear this title, it might seem nothing for a lot of people, but for someone like me who held it in my hands and took it so close to my heart, I think it means a lot to me. And Miss Nagaland is one such a title that has produced me to be who I am today. I started my Beauty with a Purpose project immediately after COVID-19 pandemic lockdown. People normally say that I'm very lucky that I got 2 years of rain already, 2020 and 21, but no, I'm not lucky. I barely got like around 6 to 7 months to rain, because in both of those years we had lockdown and I could not function. I had no movement, and I did not get great opportunities like how our new Miss Nagaland, our now Miss Nagaland gets. For me, it was a different scene. I had to create my own opportunity, honestly, because Beauty with a Purpose project was not given to me by any government department, or it was not given to me by the organization, but I had to pave my own way. So we did a cleanliness drive in the market area, and that's when we started our Beauty with a Purpose project. And after that, we wanted to help the farmers in Nagaland. So what we did was we did 3 consecutive sales day, and we sold the vegetables of the farmers in Kohima town, and that was local vegetables. So we could do a great sale during that time, and we could really help the farmers as well. And with the kind of proceeds that we collected, we were also able to help the Kohima All Age Center. After that, we went to certain villages, all right, some remote villages. We went there, we did our charity program, blanket distribution, but that was not just it as well. Charity program was not just a reason, but we want to go meet and greet our people. We want to not just show them that Miss Nagaland is coming, but we also want to educate them in certain way. During that time, it was about COVID vaccination thing, and people were so hype up about like that thing not happening in the right way in our society, people taking in a more religious perspective way. So we collaborated with some organization, district administration, and we educated them that COVID vaccination is important and why is it important. So that's how we interacted with the locals and with the villagers, and it was a pleasant journey. And by the end of 2021, I could cover all the districts in Nagaland, and I could release my documentary called Nagaland I Know. And besides that, we could also publish a book called Nagaland I Know as well. So that was an achievement that we got in the year 2021, not besides traveling all the districts in Nagaland. And after the night that I passed on my crown to another lady, that night made me to think, was I just doing what I was doing only for the sake of the crown and the sash? That was a thought that came in my mind. That moment made me to realize that it's not necessary for you to have the crown and the sash. You can do wonderful things without it. You can go milestone without having a title in your shoulder, right? You just have to have the willpower. You just have to be dedicated. You just need to have the correct passion in you, and that's when it's going to lead you in the right way. And with that thought, I reached the month of January 2022. And when I was visiting all the 12 districts in Nagaland, Noklak was one such a place that really attracted me, not because it's underdeveloped or not because it had nothing to do with me. I'm not a local from that area, neither I have any relative, or like people say, why are you working in Noklak? Do you have a boyfriend or do you have a lover? No, I don't have. It's just that Noklak is a wonderful place. God certainly has immense of love for that place that not everybody will know about it, but those who knows about Noklak will be immensely blessed. Although there were certain things that I was quite surprised about, but I felt as
like
though
what?
like their culture, their way of living, their lifestyle, their mentality, it's totally different than that of ours. But at the same time, it is also a district that makes us to feel like we are traveling over the time. Like it's like the 60s of Kohima.
Like backwards.
Backward, like of course people are changing, there are new places coming up, and it's wonderful to work there as well, because I haven't seen people more energized than them. They want to see new changes, they want to adapt new things. It is this year that we could finally construct our center. It's a 2-story center where we have an open library for the people, for the youth of Noklak. We have a computer lab where we are giving diploma in computer application course. We have a skill development training space where we give training programs to people of Noklak, whether they're youth. We don't have any age barrier. We also give free tuition program to 500 plus students. So it's not just about looking after 500 plus students, but it's about looking after 500 families in Noklak. So that's the kind of responsibility that's given in my head after the crown of Miss Nagaland. So it's quite challenging, but it's beautiful at the same time as well, because you get to see a life that's filled with so much of, you know, passion, so much of compassion, so much of kindness as well.
Well, let's talk about your earlier responsibilities where you were expected to know all about the cement. We just talked about this like a couple of minutes ago. Where that's how you have to build from the ground up. You didn't have contractors or construction workers?
We don't have contractors, we don't have engineers, we don't have construction workers and all in Noklak. I don't know the A of construction. I don't even know what kind of nails are there. I don't even know how to use a hammer. And I don't even know that we have to mix cement and sand to build something. Like that was the first time that I got to know. And there were so many things that I literally had to understand, had to learn, and had to study as well. But imagine like a 21-year-old taking the responsibility of constructing a center, and that also for more than 500 students. 2023, God, I don't want to remember. 2023 was a year where I achieved so much, but at the same time, I cried the most. I was the most hurt in 2023. But it was very rewarding as well. I learned about construction. I learned that sometimes people can give us dhoka. I learned that sometimes we need to be even wise, irrespective of what age you belong. You have to be very strict. Somebody who really helped me in the construction was Yamadlinag. I would like call him every night and I would ask him like, how do I go about with this? What do I put on my roof, you know? How do I go about with the floor? How do I go about with the ceiling? What do I have to put in the window? You know, everything he made me to understand as well. So a shout out goes to him as well. Thank you, Yamad, for helping me.
Wait, so you didn't have any other references other than Yamit?
I did had references,
Okay.
Obviously. I Googled.
But he was the person you're most comfortable
Yeah, he was
with.
the person that I was most comfortable with.
2 stories you said, right?
Yeah, 2 stories.
Is it still up?
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It is actually. Oh God, I really didn't had the idea about construction.
At 25, I have no idea. So I'd be scared just as much as you.
Right. A lot of people ask me, how do you balance so many things at one go? Are you a multitasker? No, I am not a multitasker, you know. I'm just a normal human who try to take the task in a very proper way. Time is not made, time is given. When you have to prioritize on certain things, you need to put your feet at one point and after completing, go forward for the next. You can't be, you know, tangled in all the task, in all the problem. Take it easy and try to study the task more and try to see what are the advantages and disadvantages of the task and then try to complete it.
Would you say your childhood was a good foundation for how you think now?
I give a great amount and a great credit to my grandparents who raised me. They were uneducated. They used their thumb to give their signature, but they made sure that I was educated in a very good way. They made me to study in the most prestigious school, then pushed me to study science and then to go to a college that was so reputed, you know. So they made me to understand that education is the key for you to not just become a good human being, but a better person so that you could do something good for the people. I've been produced by Northfield and I'm very proud enough to say that. They have really pushed us as students and as young minds to go forward and explore something, whether it is our talents or whether it's something that we're interested on. They have really pushed us to help us to become like what we want to be. We cannot always have good pairs. We cannot always have bad pairs. The bad ones makes you stronger. The good ones makes you better. Some of them really discouraged me. I remembered some of them would really hurt my feelings as a young person by discriminating me, by throwing words at me. I was such a timid person when I was in my high school, yeah. I literally did not like to socialize a lot as well, and I felt so less in a way that I felt as though if I do something that my friends will start judging me. If I really participate in something, then I'm going to look weird in front of people, and that was the whole thing that was coming in my head. I was not born confident, yeah. I was never born confident. I was made to be confident, you know. That is something that I always remind myself that Vikuonuo, you are made to be confident. You cannot go back to yourself. same zone again. I did had some group of friends who always looked down on me, who always thought that I was too less to achieve that, or I was too less to be that kind of a person that I wanted to be. But trust me, those are the same people who text me these days and say that we're very proud of you. So that's a success for me. You know, my friend, one of my friend, her name is Vikuonuo. So the time that we were parting from grade 10, she gave me a note.
Partying?
Yeah.
You partied?
No, parting from grade 10. We
Parting
were
ways.
going away,
Okay.
parting ways, yeah. So during that time, she left me a note and she said, it was a Bible verse, all right. It was a Bible verse written in Tenidia. It stated that Pelea kijamiwem hakehupurit salevi. It means that those who believes can do anything, right? It is made possible to those who believe. So that's the English translation. So that's the note that she gave me, and she told me that keep this Bible verse with you wherever you go. And even to this day, I still have that Bible verse with me. Every time I'm down, I look at the Bible verse and I remind myself that Vikuonuo, come on, you have come a long way. The only thing that you have to do is keep believing, keep having the faith, keep praying for it. You're gonna make it higher, you're gonna make it bigger, you know. Not every time is not every day is Sunday, right? Just like that, not every day is going to be a bad day for you. You're going to rise, you're going to do better. And that's the one, just a simple note that keeps on reminding me of how beautiful life is. And I still have that with me. And you know, friends like them, though we don't stay in contact all the time, but we still know that they're going to be there for us.
100%. I met my friends after almost 10 years and we still clicked as if we'd never been gone. One thing I was told, that as you get older, you start filtering out the people in your life.
Right. I don't know if this is my problem. Once I know how to distance myself from the people that I call friends, all right? I can ghost them, trust me. I can literally ghost everybody. I go to a certain point where I feel like I don't like it, so I don't like it, and I end up deleting their numbers, and I end up like
what?
muting them everywhere just because I just don't want to see them anymore. I do that like as if I'm not going to meet them one day. Don't depend on your friends. Don't depend on people who are literally harming your mental health. Just focus on yourself. People who literally traumatize you, cut them off. Trust me. You should have no regrets. There is no loss, but cut them off. You know, you don't have time to tolerate any people who is harming your mental health, who is hurting you, or who is trying to pull you down.
Yeah, 100%. Something that my dad always told me is like, the most dangerous people in your life aren't the ones that do damage and leave.
Correct.
It's the ones that do damage, they keep coming back, and then they keep coming back because they never give you a chance to move on.
Absolutely. Not everybody who comes to your life and who is in your life is healthy enough for you. I'm no one to judge, but it's about me. It's about prioritizing what I want in life. It's about prioritizing what kind of circles that I want and how healthy I want my mindset to be, right? Mm-hmm.
Do you think you intimidate people?
People think so. I'm just 22, but I've experienced life in 4 years in such a way that I felt as though I've experienced life for the rest of the 80 years. I didn't wanted people who are always thinking about the wrong side than finding possibilities, you know. That's when I started differentiating between whom I should pair up with more. I'm a very future-oriented person, you know. Like, I have plans that from 5 years onwards, what I want to do and how I want to see myself. Tomorrow, what's my plan? Tonight, what I have to do. I am like very pre-planned kind of person. I don't know whether the plan is going to work, but I want to make sure that it works. Something works, even if that thing don't work.
Well, where do you see yourself in 5 years, in 10 years?
How do you see myself? How do you see me in 5 years?
Well, I see a lot more infrastructure in Noklak. That's one. I see a position where you might even be like a council member.
In council, in village, how can I be in Noklak?
Why not?
Because I'm not a local out there.
But the amount of stuff that you're doing for them, I think it surpasses what even a local could do, in my opinion. I mean, that's the least they could do.
So you see me in the council.
I see you breaking barriers.
With that, I would like to, you know, there was few days that I was going through Instagram and I saw someone winning an award. It was an award for doing some kind of like a social service, like cleaning the, I don't know, sweeping the area or something like that. So I was thinking, "Hare, mohano man kam kreo hili din me word na pa." So that was my thing. Like our Naga society, we fail to see the genuine people working in the society. The reality is we have to travel 13, 14, 15 hours to reach Noklak from the capital, from Kohima. We reached 13, 14 hours. We had to take the whole journey, and the journey is not pleasant and horrible. It's a bumpy ride, you know.
Especially during the monsoon, right?
During the monsoon, my goodness, it's worst. There are times that we want to eat something, but we don't get. There are times that we want to sleep somewhere, but we don't get to sleep as well. We have to cook. We have to look after the teachers that are coming to the district. Because imagine those teachers are coming with so much of passion, dedication, and it is our responsibility to look after them. Imagine handling 500 plus students. Forget about the students, also handling more than 50 plus youths in Noklak, and thinking that I have no stress and I'm living in a fancy world. My goodness, my friend, you're mistaken.
Yeah, the grassroots reality is very different from what people usually think.
And more than that, I wish that well-recognized leaders of our society, I wish they focus, they draw their attention to places like Noklak, because I'm telling you, you give 1% of your contribution or your effort and it's impacting 100% of the population, you know. Like I go and work in Noklak, but it's impacting more than 500 families, right? It's impacting 500 lives out there, 500 plus lives out there. So why not the leaders of our society, the well-renowned people of our society, come together, see what you have to see, because it is also your responsibility, right? It is also necessary that you as a leader to come forward and to look beyond what you should.
People complain about this all the time. It's like, why does all the attention go to just Dimapur and Kohima?
Exactly, right. And when we talk about Nagaland, Nagaland is should not only be known for Hornbill Festival. Nagaland should be known for its diversity in culture. Nagaland should be known for its heritage as well. Nagaland should be known for its wonderful places and wonderful people that are there. Places in Noklak like Choklagan, Langnok village, Pangsha. There's so many villages that I could name, and it's so wonderful. But the only thing is people do not come to see those areas, you know. Like we have historical events that occurred in those areas. We have places that attracts the tourists, but at the end of the day, you know, it's not what people wish to come and see. So Nagaland is just looked only on the Hornbill Festival and Kohima and Dimapur scenario.
I remember when we had dinner, and the way that you were talking about the Noklak people, it almost seemed like their reception of you was much more warmer than people here in Kohima.
Absolutely, I would say that, because people of Noklak are wonderful, you know. Like I consider them to be my own family now. I feel more like a local from Noklak than a local from Kohima itself. There are people who have the most generous heart. Every morning I get up, and whenever I move forward to go to my kitchen, I find these small little bags where they give me all these little vegetables. That's the gesture for them to show how grateful they are to me. They don't directly come and say thank you, because our people are really shy to say thank you in your face, but that's a way for them to show love and appreciation. The time that you win their trust, they will love you like their own. The potential of the people out there are so high that we just need to push them forward. We just need to encourage them. If I'm able to do this to them today, then tomorrow they will do that for their younger generation, right? So that's the hope that we have it in us.
It's what we mentioned all the way back when we started this conversation. It's just small acts of gestures. Because I remember you did one with LC as well. You surprised your kids with Moko Koza, right?
Correct.
To them, for these little kids who are watching Moko performing on a small TV screen 500 kilometers away, that's a big deal for them.
That's a big deal for them.
What was that reception like?
Oh my goodness, that moment was so good. Even if I think about that moment, it still gives me so much of goosebumps. My students were also excited because I told them that I'm giving them a surprise. And later when I asked them, what were you all expecting? They said that they thought I will bring them a food or I will just show them something like fascinating. So I told them to look forward, and Moko was at their back, which they didn't know about it. And I was asking them question, and I told them repeat after me, say smile, and they were saying smile, say Noklak, they were saying Noklak. Then I say Moko Kuza, and they were saying Moko Kuza because they didn't have idea about it. And then I just pointed out at their back like that, and they all turned. And the moment they saw Moko Kuza, oh my goodness, they literally screamed their hearts out, and even boys, even my boys screamed so much. And I don't know, it was such a wonderful thing for me to see them this way, because it might seem like those are just 30 children from Noklak, but they're like my 30 kids. They're like my nijwala bacha nishna ho jaishina. So they're so special to me. To see them being happy and to see them having their moments like this makes me feel as though I am their mother who is like literally enjoying their children, enjoying things. But honestly, yes, I am very glad that they had a wonderful time. They met Moko. Moko is such a humble person.
Shout out to Moko, yeah.
Shout out to Moko. Honestly, shout out to Moko.
He's such a nice guy.
Absolutely
really
nice guy.
Down to earth. You think someone at that level, he'd be like, have this no ego, no sense of entitlement. He still talks like he's a kid from Kohima.
He made the children so comfortable. He came, he spoke to them so nicely. He shook hands with them. Some wanted to hug him. He was allowing that, some wanted to get all these pictures, and he was still allowing them to do so. And, my students were so happy, and I keep on telling my students to smile, smile, smile. But that day, even before I told them, they were smiling. So it was so funny, but yet such a pleasant day for us. And we had a wonderful meet with Moko, and all thanks to Elsie for arranging the meet. So another shout out to Elsie again.
Come on.
Elsie Sekose is the best.
The big brother. Yeah.
I know.
I mean, that's a core memory for those kids.
Right. And once in a lifetime is once in a lifetime.
So someone like you, where people have obviously commented on the fact that you seem like a very busy person, how do you get the time? How do you get the time? Like, how do you section off your professional life? Do you have any hobbies that you go into? I know we talked about your love for makeup.
Right. We can't say that someone is too busy not to give time on things they like. Why do I love makeup? Is because that's one time that I really get to focus on myself. I really get to leave aside my thoughts, my stress, and so much of everything happening around me. And I really get to focus on the art that I'm doing. So makeup is such a healer for me. It might not be a very happening thing for people. People might be thinking, what's so special about makeup? But makeup is an art. Makeup is something that releases my stress, and it really makes me happy at the end of the day. So I enjoy doing that.
Yeah, it's a great way to do it. So do you want to give any shout out for in this?
Yes, absolutely. The number one is the Miraculum Society Nagaland. You can all go to Instagram. You can follow us there, and you can see the kind of work that we're doing, and you can also leave your kind of support and encouragement to us as well. That will be really kind of all of you. Number two is I would want to give a shout out to Papa Foundation. Papa Foundation is one such a foundation that's looking after so many children in Nagaland, in helping them fund their scholarship by paying for their admissions and monthly fees and even the book fees as well. So another shout out to Papa Foundation for doing amazing and a great work, and thank you for helping so many children and students in Nagaland as well. Last but not the least, I would want to give shout out to the Gear Trails Nagaland. It's one of the biggest cycling club in Nagaland. It's impacting around 100 of riders. So its main aim is to also to promote more riders and to promote an eco-friendly environment. So a huge and a most wonderful shout out to the Gear Trails Nagaland.
Okay guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. I love the way we talked.